Have you ever had the chance to meet Jesus? Sean Combs, better known as P.Diddy, has experienced this extraordinary moment, and their conversation will surprise you in ways you never expected. Sean is facing serious accusations, claims of abuse, extortion, and human trafficking. These issues aren't just about him. They raise big questions about power, fame, and how society handles justice.
I'm Sean Combs, a man who's seen the highs and lows of fame, power, and success. But today I'm here not as a mogul or celebrity, but as someone searching for answers.
I am Jesus. I walk with those who seek truth, no matter how difficult the questions may be. Let's explore them together.
With these two extraordinary characters, we are about to witness a conversation that will leave you thinking deeply. Let's begin. The music industry often celebrates the rock star lifestyle, money, fame, and wild parties. But does this image make it easier to hide bad behavior? Today, Sean Combs and Jesus will discuss this tough question.
People love the idea of the rock star life. The fame, the money, the parties is a dream for many. But behind that dream, there's a dark side. Sometimes, bad things happen and people look the other way because they don't want to ruin the image. Jesus, do you think this whole rock star thing lets people get away with too much?
That's a big question, Sean. The rock star image can make people admire you, but it can also hide the truth. It's not the image itself that's the problem. It's how people use it. When fame becomes a way to avoid responsibility, it causes harm. The challenge is to see the truth, even when the image looks perfect.
But here's the problem. The industry loves these big, perfect images. If someone shows their flaws or admits their mistakes, they risk losing everything. So everyone goes along with it, even when they know something's wrong. Fans, executives, and the media, they don't want to ruin the fantasy. How can someone break free from that without destroying their career?
Truth doesn't destroy what's real. It reveals it. The fantasy might fall apart, but what's left behind is something stronger, the real you. Sean, when people face their flaws and admit their mistakes, they grow. It's hard, but it's the only way to build real trust and create a better way forward for yourself and for the industry.
It's not just about courage, though. It's about surviving in this business. The industry doesn't forgive easily, especially if you're at the top. Sometimes the people around you don't help. They just want to keep the money flowing. How can someone even start to change a system like that when everyone stays quiet?
Silence might feel safe, but it keeps the problem alive. A system built on silence can't stand forever. Change starts when someone speaks the truth and does what's right, even when it's hard. It's about shifting focus, from protecting power to protecting people. Yes, Sean, it's tough, but it's worth it.
If someone like me wanted to make that change, what's the first step? Can you take responsibility for your actions and still have a future?
The first step is the hardest. Look inside and face your truth. Taking responsibility doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. It shows you're willing to learn, grow, and make things right. Moving forward doesn't mean ignoring the past. It means using it to build something better. When you do that, you can guide others out of the same darkness.
This chapter has shown us the struggle between image and responsibility in the music world. It's clear that facing the truth is the first step toward real change. Next, Sean and Jesus will talk about power and wealth, how they can protect or harm. Let's continue the journey. Power and money can be used to do good things, like helping people and creating opportunities. But sometimes they are used to protect those who hurt others and silence the ones who need help. Today, Sean Combs and Jesus will talk about how power and wealth can shape justice in the music world.
Power and money are supposed to give you freedom, right? But I've seen how they can do more than that. They can protect people who do bad things. People don't speak up because they're scared of losing their jobs or their futures. Jesus, why does power seem to protect the wrong people sometimes?
Power and money aren't bad on their own, Sean. It's how people use them that makes the difference. When power is used only to protect yourself, it causes harm. But when it's used to help others, it can do great good. The problem comes when people care more about keeping their position than doing what's right. That's when fear and greed take over.
I hear you, but it's not always easy to see. You don't even notice the walls going up around you. You start off just protecting what you've built, and then the system protects you in ways you didn't even ask for. People around you get scared to tell you the truth. How do you even know what's real when that happens?
Power can make it hard to see clearly. That's why it's so important to listen to the people who are brave enough to speak up. It's not always easy to hear hard truths, but it's necessary. You have to ask yourself, are you building walls or are you opening doors? That's how you find what's real.
Opening doors sounds good, but it's risky. If you give people a chance to speak, some will use it to attack you, even if it's not fair. And if you admit mistakes, some people will never let you move on. How do you stay open without losing everything?
Being open doesn't make you weak, Sean. It shows you're honest and willing to grow. Yes, some people might try to take advantage of that, but you can't let fear stop you from doing the right thing. The truth is stronger than any lie. When you lead with honesty, you inspire others to do the same. It's not about being perfect. It's about trying to do better.
So, are you saying that power can be used to change the system, not just keep it going? But that's not something one person can do alone. How do you get others to help when the system benefits them too?
Change starts with one person taking a step. When others see courage and honesty, it encourages them to join in. It's like planting seeds. You might not see all the results, but your actions can inspire a ripple effect. Use your power to lift others up, not to control them. That's how real change begins.
This conversation showed how power and money can either help or hurt. What matters is how they're used. Next, Sean and Jesus will talk about justice, whether it's the same for everyone or influenced by status and privilege. Let's see where the discussion goes next. Justice is supposed to treat everyone equally. But does that really happen when someone is famous or powerful? Today, Sean Combs and Jesus will talk about how the justice system works in high-profile cases and whether it's fair for everyone.
I've been in the spotlight for a long time, and I've seen how being famous can change how the justice system treats you. Sometimes it feels like people judge you harder just because you're well known. Other times, having money and connections can help you avoid the worst outcomes. Jesus, why is it so hard for the system to treat everyone the same?
Justice is meant to be fair, but people often let power, fear, or money get in the way. When someone is famous or rich, it can change how they're treated, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. True justice looks at the person's heart, not their status. But human systems struggle with that because people aren't perfect.
That's true. It's like a double-edged sword. When you're famous, the public watches everything you do, and sometimes they judge you before the courts even have a chance. But at the same time, money and influence can give you advantages, like better lawyers or special treatment. How can people trust a system that feels so unfair?
The system reflects the people running it. If those people care more about power than fairness, the system will be unbalanced. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Change happens when people in power choose to do what's right, even when it's hard. Trust comes when justice is used to protect everyone, not just the powerful.
I get that, but when you're in the middle of it, it's hard to feel hopeful. The media makes up its mind about you before the court even decides. Public opinion can ruin you even if you're innocent. How do you stay strong when it feels like the whole world is against you?
It's not easy to stand firm when everything feels so heavy. But the truth always has a way of coming out, even when the noise around you is loud. You can't control what people think or say. You can't control what people think or say, but you can control how you act. If you focus on doing what's right, you'll find peace, even in the hardest times.
That makes sense, but fixing the system feels impossible.
It's been this way for so long.
What can one person even do to change it?
Big changes start with small steps. It begins with people like you deciding to do the right thing and speaking up for fairness. When enough people stand up for what's right, things start to change. Remember, justice isn't just about laws. It's a way of living, and it starts with each of us.
This chapter looked at how fame, money, and public opinion can affect justice. Real fairness starts with individuals choosing to act justly, even when it's hard. Next, Sean and Jesus will talk about the media, how it shapes stories and affects both the accused and the victims. Let's see where this leads. The media has a lot of power. It can help share the truth, but it can also hurt people. In high-profile cases, the media decides how the accused and the victims are seen by the world. Today, Sean Combs and Jesus will talk about how the media and public opinion affect justice and privacy.
I've been in the headlines, and it's not easy. Sometimes the media gets the story wrong, but the damage is already done. They make you look guilty before you even have a chance to explain. Jesus, how do we make sure people know the truth but still respect privacy?
That's a big question, Sean. The truth is important, but so is protecting people from harm. The media has a responsibility. It can bring justice, but it can also hurt people by rushing to judgment. The right balance happens when people care more about the truth than about drama.
I see what you mean, but the media loves drama.
Big stories get more attention, and that means victims lose their privacy and the accused lose their chance to be treated fairly. How can we stop that when the system rewards gossip?
It starts with people choosing honesty over quick, shallow stories. Reporters need to ask themselves why they're sharing something. Is it to help or just to get more attention? The public plays a role too. They can stop judging so fast and look for the truth behind the headlines. Change happens when people demand better.
What about the victims? Sometimes the media shares too much about their pain and leaves them feeling exposed. And for those who are falsely accused, it can destroy their lives before they can prove their innocence.
How do we protect both sides?
We protect them by being careful and kind. The media should stick to the facts and avoid sharing details that aren't needed. And the public should remember that everyone deserves respect, no matter what. Justice should help people, not tear them down.
I get it, but people love gossip and big stories.
It's been that way forever.
Can we really expect the media and people to change?
Change isn't easy, but it starts with one person doing the right thing. When people choose kindness over gossip and truth over lies, others will follow. The media will change when the people demand it. Each of us has to ask, am I helping or hurting by the stories I share and believe?
This chapter showed how the media and public opinion can affect people's lives. It's clear that both reporters and readers have a role to play in making the world fairer. Let's think about how we can choose truth and kindness in the stories we tell and believe. What questions would you ask if you had this chance? Let this conversation inspire you to seek truth, act with kindness, and share your perspective. If you enjoyed this dialogue, like this video, subscribe for more and join the discussion in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts.